Hi everyone, especially to our parcel owners. I'd like to firstly inform that the purpose of this video is to outline our new procedure and guidelines to organizing and conducting AGM for this year. We hope that this video tutorial or guidelines will assist our parcel owners to better understand the procedures that we have set out in order to make sure that we organize this AGM that is done in a safe and orderly manner. The first thing first is I'd like you to pay attention is the first opening paragraph. One of the things that we have to really work hard on is looking at social distancing, what is required of us. We needed to look at a new way of organizing and hosting this AGM. We have gotten the green light from COB that AGMs can be held, but like all things, government agencies tend to always leave the details in terms of how to manage these events to people like us. So we have to look at we have to rely on again our instincts. We have to learn from other sort of industries in terms of hosting events, how they are done. Most importantly is, at the end of the day, as safe as we like to be, we sort of make sure that things are realistic at the end of the day. Okay, so I like to basically we've put together sort of five to six key points that are significant changes and that we've put in order to make this AGM work in the most safest possible way. First thing first is we need to look at limiting the number of attendees to 40 person only. So we've actually measured the venue, and this is the venue located up in the function room up in the residence floor. And based on our social distancing, we have sort of put down to about 40 person that we can accommodate. Our average turnout rate is between 60 to about 80 people for an AGM. So based on this, we think that by holding 2 sessions, this would be sufficient to cater for the AGM. So this is something that is different that we've never done before. The second thing we have to pay a lot of attention to is fast-tracking registrations and minimize queue waiting time. Again, social distancing and movement control is all about avoiding overcrowding, and especially there's a large number of our usual attendees are normally of a certain higher age group. So we want to make sure that we want to keep everyone as safe as possible. So this is one area that we put a lot of attention into, making sure that we reduce those waiting time. The third thing third factor we've homed into is limiting the running time of AGM to only about 1 hour and 30 minutes, because we're running in 2 sessions. Essentially, we want to make sure that people don't spend any more time than is necessary in order to make sure that we cover the key agendas. And then obviously the voting and ballot papers, that whole process will change significantly because of the way the meetings are being conducted. Okay, and then last item, obviously wearing masks, temperature checking, hand sanitization, and registrations. They will be mandatory for anyone who are attending this meeting. Sort of breakdown, if you would look at limiting the attendance to 40 person, essentially 2 sessions, one for the residential, one for commercial. Both will be held on the same day. The item that we've kind of put in is that this very important but very pertinent thing is called advanced online booking. It means that every seat in this venue will be allocated, so we will need all attendees to basically go through the advanced online booking process. Once you have booked, then that seat is yours. Okay? And so we must go through a pretty stringent process in order to make sure that if you are the person that's coming and you're the person that's attending, and the seat that's allocated, we've got to make sure that's the same person. So obviously this requires quite a bit of background planning, making sure our procedures and process are done well in order to ensure that this will go smoothly. So there's a QR code that's attached. So this notice that we've sent out will also have a QR code. And you see that by using that QR code, it will take you straight to the online booking where you can book your seat. And sort of moving on, we talked about earlier on about corresponding consistency of booking details. Now it's very essential that because there's a seat number that's assigned, we've got to make sure that the name of the person attending corresponds to the proxy forms, to the NR, to your local IC or passport if you're a foreigner, to make sure that those names are exactly who you are. Okay, and so through that process, there's one single thing. So issuance of attendance booking ID reference to facilitate contact tracing for purpose of movement control, balloting results, and seat allocation. Once you book online with us the seat, an ID reference is actually given out. This ID reference will be tagged to your balloting results, to your ballot papers. It will be tagged to your seat number, and also be tagged to the guest registration form, so we know that you are who you are and when you actually attend on the day itself. This ID number is essential. That once you have this ID number, you are pretty much qualified, and that means that you are able to attend this meeting. So I'd like to impress upon our attendees and our parcel owners that a lot of sort of background checking needs to be done before this ID is actually given to each attendees. Second key point is looking at fast track registration and minimizing queue waiting time. So this is one of the key objectives we want to achieve. In order to do that, we have to spend a great deal of time in what we call pre-event qualification for registered attendees. Now, in the past, we used to basically process attendees when they arrive. So sometimes this could take up to an hour. In order to process all attendees, you will see long, massive queues that we typically form. We used to check whether there's balance owing, etc., etc. This we can't afford to have it now. So what we have done is we've relaxed the ruling, whereby it's owing of service charge and sinking fund for the month of August. All right, will not be a criteria in order for us to qualify someone to attend the AGM. In this case, we've chosen an earlier cut-off date, so 31st July would be the cut-off period where people need to pay off their service charge and sinking fund. By doing this, we've enabled time for my team to actually qualify that person in order to attend the meeting. So this is actually one of the key things, is to basically make sure that we don't do qualification on the day itself. Upon your arrival, you need to present the ID reference, the attendance booking ID reference, which I have earlier mentioned, and your IC numbers, which will make sure that those two things, they match. At the same time, you will be given your ballot papers and your seat number allocation, and then you make your way to your seat number. So this will be the typical flow that you see once you arrive and until where your seat will be allocated and you'll be shown safely to your seat. Other key elements is sometimes AGMs can run on for hours, and therefore one of the key things is we need to limit the running time of the AGM to no more than an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, we have gone through the agenda. If we stay on point, we would estimate that an hour 30 minutes should be sufficient in order to cover all the areas in the agenda. That being said, therefore, in order to make the AGM go as efficiently as possible, we have to basically put in place whereby all questions in relation to the agendas, all right? So whether it is about a motion to vote, whether it's about whether it's reducing service charge or increasing service charge, there will be motion papers. These are financial or explanatory information that are posted online, uploaded online. Everyone is able to go on the website to see this information. So in the most ideal situation, what we really would prefer is that all the questions will be directed to us prior to the AGM. And from the way we can organize is to have a closing date of when questions need to be sent to us. And in this particular case, 6th of August is the date where the closing date for all occupants who intends to participate and come to the AGM to send the question to us by the 6th of August.
This will enable us with enough time for us to actually process all the questions and have the answers ready for us to present during the AGM.
The other element that we need to put in place is what we call only questions submitted by parcel owners whom have successfully registered, qualified, and who are present that we will answer during the AGM. Questions submitted must be relevant to the agenda. Okay, and if it is not relevant to the agenda, if it's about a complaint, if it's about feedback that you want to provide us, then you can direct all this to our customer service, where these are where the channel is for resolving all operational issues. Okay, so I hope that we could respect the agenda, we could stay on point with the agenda, and that's really key to ensuring that we're able to limit the time and running of the time for this AGM. Voting in ballot papers. Essentially, voting shall be conducted through ballot papers, which will be deposited in a sealed box. We've arranged for the auditors to be there, and they have been appointed and assigned as an independent person to oversee this process. So the idea is that once the ballot papers goes into the sealed box, they take it with them, and then they will do the counting back in the office. Okay, which means that we won't be releasing the results on the day itself, because there are two sessions. So there will be essentially two sessions and several boxes per motions, and so the auditors will be conducting these calculations and tabulations at the office, and then we will be announcing the results about a week later. In this case, we have chosen to publish these results publicly back on the website. However, for those attendees who have attended the AGM, we will be WhatsApping the results to them directly, because we will have their telephone numbers, so that won't be a challenge for us. Last but not least, obviously, safety is number one. It's our top priority to make sure that everyone who attends these AGMs go home as safely as possible. So, now that we have sort of gone through the procedures and the guidelines over how we're going to host, organize, and conduct this AGM, I'd like to take you through the timeline. Obviously, the manner in which the way we organize this AGM would mean that our stages would be very different as compared to before. So I'd like to take you through several key stages. Let's start with stage 1A. This is where there's not much changes here, but this is where usually we send out our notices of the agenda for the 4th AGM. This is usually done by mail. The only difference that this time around, we're going to accompany it with our printed copy of this new procedure and guidelines. Okay, so with this, it should provide enough information for our parcel owners to at least understand what is actually happening and how this AGM is different from the ones we've had before. So that we're going to assume about 5 days to essentially send out these information. So from about 10th of July, we will begin the process to mail out these two documents. Okay. Then we move on to stage 1B. So in here, basically, on the 15th of July, we will upload almost like 11 piece of information, and these are all information that are relevant to the AGM. Okay, and what we are putting up basically is in the annual report for 2019 audited accounts, management accounts, etc., etc. All this will be made available online for you to download from the 15th of July onwards. Okay. Now, to get there, it's very simple. You just basically go to our Jaya One website, visit the main page, look for AGM 2020, and all those information will be there. Okay. So in total, from the day that we send out our notice to the day that we upload the information is 7 days. Okay. And by that time, there should be sufficient time for all owners to receive this information. Okay. Having said that, we then move on to stage 2. And this is where, with the information that's put up and available on the website.
So once we're in the stage 2, this is where we've actually allocated about 15 days for everyone to actually run through the information. That means from the 22nd of July to the 6th of August, this information would be in place for everyone to go through. And having gone through this information, all occupants will be given during these 15 days to prepare their questions, send it into our management so that again we will be able to ready the answers for us to present during the AGM.
The management will not be answering questions that is raised during the AGM. So the purpose of this is to make sure that questions are sent in before the AGM. Now, someone may at this point bring up a question: what if I don't have internet service? What if I don't have a smartphone, or can't even operate a computer? No problem. If you wish to access any of this information, we can email this to you, or you can let us know. We can provide printed copies for you to pick up from the customer service. All you gotta do is call the customer service number, let them know, and we will arrange this for you. Okay? But please do take note of the time frame we've allocated between 17 July to the 1st of August. 15 days will be allocated for all owners to submit their questions to us.
Once we reach this stage, we move on to stage 3. And stage 3 is another 14 days. And basically, from the period of 1st of August to the 14th of August, this is a period of what we call qualification of all parcel owners who wish to attend and vote.
And so in order to make sure that, that everyone that is eligible to vote, we need to qualify them. Now, like I said, in the past, we used to qualify them on the day of the event. So because of what we've mentioned earlier, in order to limit the number of queues and concern about overcrowding, what we're doing is we will be pre-qualifying all attendees basically during this period of 15 days from 31st July 22 to 14th of August is what we'll be using this period to qualify. So essentially during this period you can go online and do your advance booking. This is when you have to book your seat. Okay? Once you've booked your seat, you have to submit also your proxy forms during this period to us. And then make sure you clear your outstanding in terms of your service charge and sinking fund owing up to 31st of July. So clear that. Once we see all 3 of these criteria, then you would have been qualified, and then that's where basically we will say that you have officially got your seat. Okay? And I'd like to sort of put some attention towards the important areas here. All parties are required to settle outstanding, so make sure you do that within the stipulated time frame, and make sure you book your seat. So this is really, really critical. So I hope this stage 3, please pay attention to the time frame. Please be very, very mindful that the first 3 steps: advance online booking, submission of proxy forms, and 0 outstanding up to 31st of July. 3 of these key criteria, make sure that it is met, then only you are qualified to attend.
Essentially, from the 1st of August all the way until to the 17th of August, this means we call this a confirmation of eligibility to attend and vote.
During this process, once you score all 3 key areas which I mentioned earlier, we will send you your ID reference booking. Okay, this will automatically tells you that your seat has been confirmed. It also means that once you receive your ID, we call it the attendance booking ID reference. Once you receive this, it means that you have been qualified. It means that you have passed the 3 things. Okay, and then all you gotta do is just sit and wait until the day of the AGM. All right. So this is stage 4. And so we will be WhatsApping you the ID reference number, okay, and we will be confirming with you via email as well that you have successfully qualified and that you have successfully booked your seat. So this is done in stage 4.
And then once we get to stage 5, basically we have about 5 days running up to from the 18th of August to the 21st of August. This is where we do our final reminder for all those attendees who have actually registered in our system and have also been qualified. So what we need to do is just send out a reminder to remind them to actually to not forget that there is the AGM, to make sure that we double confirm that they are attending.
So that's 5 days allocated in stage 5. And then the final stage, obviously, second final stage is the stage 6. This is where the AGM day itself, as we previously mentioned, we are breaking it down to 2 sessions, okay? And I hope that everyone will follow through our process, and we hope that this will go on as smooth as possible. And obviously stage 7, this is basically announcing the ballot results. Whatever decisions or ballot results, that will be announced only after the AGM, because the ballot papers won't be counted on site like we normally do. So again, this is to shorten the time, the running time. So our appointed auditors or the independent party will be taking these ballot boxes back to the office. They will do the count, and then the results will be released, and via website, and also will be WhatsApped to our attendees. Okay, so there are about 7 stages that we've outlined here, and we've actually spent a great deal of time mapping and planning these processes to ensure that this AGM is done as safely as possible, and also to make sure it's as smooth, and we don't want to waste anyone's time, to make sure that everything goes according to plan. We hope that the owners will appreciate the effort that has gone in. It is definitely challenging to plan anything of gathering, using and practicing social distancing. So I hope that for some of our owners here who may not be used to this new way of conducting meetings, I hope that you will extend us your patience and your understanding. And once again, I like to sort of put out there, I like to apologize ahead that if this is the first time we're doing it, so not everything will go according to plan. So please bear with us. There will be problem. Most highly likely some issues will crop up from time to time. But like always, the management, my team and myself are always going to be there, dedicated to make sure that we make sure this will attend to every single issue as it happens. Okay. So I hope this sort of tutorial and guidelines will be helpful. I hope this would help and prepare our owners in terms of the understanding, but also minimize expectation gaps. And so that I hope that this will go well. In the meantime, as always, I always end with my usual saying: stay ahead, help us stay ahead of the curve, stay safe, and God willing, we will see you at the AGM. Thank you.